See, in our country, most of the people who come in for adoption are parents who cannot have a child, a biological child. So many of them are looking really to have a child in their family and come in to adopt because of that reason. And therefore, it's very important for them to have a child come in as early as possible. Maybe just a newborn child or a month-old child. But today, the processes and the procedures and the law does not allow for adoption, which is just a child coming to them as early as newborn or within a month or two. Because for every child who is relinquished, 2 months period must be given, and for a child who is abandoned, all the process of restoring the child or trying to find the biological parents have to take place. So therefore, most families need to know that they will not get a child who is newborn, and therefore they must be prepared to get a child who's maybe an older child, a child who is a toddler or an infant, and that is very, very important. Also, what is important is most parents want a perfect child, want a child who is completely free of illnesses, is healthy, is good looking, is has all the features that allow that child to fit into the family. Many children come with very many difficulties. Many of them are abandoned because of illness or disabilities, or have been through multiple caregiving. So they may have attachment problems or other social emotional problems, and that therefore the parent has to be made ready for. They have to accept that the child will come with some baggage, will come with some issues, and we need to deal with those issues. Also, that the option of giving up the child because the child doesn't fit in is a difficulty. We have to tell them that adoption is a forever relationship. It's a social as well as a legal relationship, and binds the child and the family together in a legal way. It's not just a social aspect that the child comes into the family, but the child must be adopted under the particular laws of the land. Most important to know for all parents is that adoption is a legal process, and they must go through the legality of it. That is, that they must adopt a child who is legally free. That means the child, it has to be very clear that the child was not kidnapped or not lost or not taken away from the family by force or by coercion. It's very important that the child comes to them completely declared legally free by the state and by the Child Welfare Committee. So that is very important and for this they must adopt a child through a licensed or recognized agency. Because if they adopt a child through a nursing home or through any other method, very often that aspect of the child being legally free, that certification that the child was legally free may not be there. And also, once the child comes to them, then the adoption deed must be prepared so that the child gets the property rights, gets all the rights that a biological child would get. And tomorrow or later on, if that deed is not there, then nobody can take away those rights from the child. So it's very, very important that the child be legally adopted by the family. Many families may disclose this to public, but others may not. But that deed kept in the safety of their locker is very important. They must have that deed. So the child should be legally free and the parents must legally adopt. Both these are very, very important and critical things in adoption. I adopted 24 years ago when this phenomenon was not a very popular option. I also was different in the sense that I did have a biological child before I decided to adopt. And that is why many agencies were a little difficult about giving me a child, saying that you already have a biological child, and therefore I had to produce an infertility certificate, which is something which we worked against, and we said this should not be, adoption should not be linked to infertility. Why cannot a family who has many children adopt another child? And also, it's not a question of adoption alone. Today, we know that so many children are in need of care and protection. Even foster care is a very important option. Why do we have to think that this child is ours, only then we can do something for the child? We can take a child into our home who is not completely free. There are many families who can't look after their own children but don't want to give up their rights. We can care for them up till the age of 18. And so with that idea, I had wanted to adopt a child. I think it's a fabulous experience, and I think anybody who really loves and cares for anybody, whether it's a child or any other human being, I think there is a wonderful relationship that develops and care for each other that develops, and I don't think it's the legality of it is the only thing. So it is very, very important for us to remember that this is such a wonderful way of creating a family. Basically, children give us as much love as you give them, and I think both gain from it. Adoption is one of those wonderful ways of creating families and caring for others who may not have that care available. But it's not that it's only one way. It's both ways. When you give love, you get that much love, and I think that is the most beautiful thing. And I don't think it's only blood alone that gives this. I think it's just the way we look at people, it's the way we believe in people, and I think that's really the beauty of adoption or foster care or sponsoring a child also.